Hi everyone. Today I'm going to continue on with discussions of some recent January 2023 boutique label releases. And this is a brand new boutique label, Radiance, which is, I believe, a UK company, but they are releasing films in the US. And I believe this is their second release, but I believe the first one that's available in Region A. This is Big Time Gambling Boss from 1968. And I had never heard of this film. In fact, I've never heard of any of the films so far that have been announced as Radiance releases, which is a good thing because I have some big blind spots in film history, and this turned out to be a very entertaining movie to add to my collection. It is directed by Kosaku Yamashita, and it is a yakuza movie. It's very absorbing. I was surprisingly absorbed in this film. It's very tense. It's a kind of slow burn build up where things are going wrong in the yakuza clans. We don't know what exactly is going to happen in the end. As an audience, I think we're a little bit on edge. It's set in 1936, and it's a story of succession. And in this way, it reminded me of The Godfather, because this is a meeting of the different clans and yakuza clans, and the bosses would meet, are meeting in the opening scene, and they want one of the clans that the storyline centers on, who are the gambling. They're interested in gambling. That's their sole purview of their of their criminal activities. But the other clan bosses, they want them to go into prostitution, gun smuggling. This is 1936. Japanese politics were highly nationalistic. They wanted to expand to the mainland. There was lots of money to be made. There's implications that they have corrupt politicians that they're going to be involved with. But they want this clan that centers on gambling, to join the leader, the boss of this clan. Says, I don't want to get involved with all that stuff, is too dirty for me. So but then he gets a disabling stroke. So now the film becomes a matter of succession. Who is going to succeed this boss? He's still alive, but he can't talk anymore. So we need a new boss. The other clan members, or the other clan bosses, elect his son-in-law, and they bypass the normal chain of command, because the next in line is a man who is in jail but soon to be paroled. And then the next man in line, our main protagonist, he was part of an Osaka clan. So even though they want him to be the new boss, he refuses to do it, thinking that his immediate overseer in the chain of command should be his position as the new boss. And plus, they are sworn brothers. They are like blood brothers. They have a responsibility to each other. So this is very much a story about a code of honor, a story of chivalry. You'd think these are ancient samurai warriors. And above all, there is loyalty to the code, at least amongst our protagonist, who is played by Koji Tsuruta. And he is sort of the fixer. He's mild-mannered, whereas his blood brother in jail is a hothead. He's cool. He has the ability to sort things out. He's respected as a man of his word. And then, of course, his blood brother gets paroled. There's all kinds of inner turmoil that develops for why he was passed over, why his blood brother was passed over. He would have been fine with that, but the third in command should not have been made the new boss. So there is intimations that there's a conspiracy afoot. It's something even more than this succession. And the film becomes very violent in the end. There's eruptions of violence, but it's the build up to the violence. So the violence here never seems excessive in the sense that we're seeing exploitation movies, so we can see a lot of people getting killed. I'm not fond of organized crime movies. I've said that in other videos, because it is a tawdry, distasteful criminal activities to me, much more so than the outlaw movie. But this film does acknowledge, as other organized crime movies, including The Godfather, they never really acknowledge that they're a bunch of thugs. But here we get that acknowledgement. We get that self-awareness comes over a couple of the main characters in this film, that they are thugs, they are low-life killers. That's all they really are. And all this code is just a sham, a pretense. There is a moral reckoning in this film, in other words. Now, the star of the film, Koji Tsuruta, familiar faces as so many of the actors in these Japanese films that they're familiar to me, but I can't place them. And he was a big star. He was also a big singing star. But he was in Samurai Trilogy with Toshiro Mifune. He worked in Ozu movies. He worked with Naruse, Mikio Naruse. So he was had worked with some big-time film directors. He's amazing. I mean, this is the kind of role, this kind of morally, a calm, moral, normal exterior. He can get the job done. He's not a hothead, and that was the kind of role he was usually the kind of roles he was usually given. The hothead is played by Thomas, and this is Saruto on the cover there. So if you've seen some of these, if you've seen Samurai Trilogy, you probably will recognize him. Now, the hothead is played by Tomotsuburo Wakayama, and he was instantly recognized by me as facially, but I couldn't place him. And he was the star of Lone Wolf and Cub. If you've ever seen all those series of films, they're playing on the Criterion channel right now. And he's very good as well. He played in all kinds of movies, all kinds of different roles, and he is very good. They didn't get along, the two main actors, but and this is he right here. The booklet is full of black and white photographs, except for that one color shot, because this is in widescreen color. There's another actor I have to mention, the villain here, and he's Nobuo Kaneko. He, again, instantly recognizable. And we learn in the supplements that in these types of movies, because this was a specific genre, the actors were allowed to go way over the top. The two main actors here show restraint, and the director, Yamashita, this was his first yakuza film amongst the series, and he was known for having restraint, for restraining the actors. And maybe Kaneko is being restrained here, but he's an instantaneous, hissing. Let's hiss the villain. He purses his lips like this, and he's got this strange mustache at the top of his upper lip, and looks like he's about to fall off at any time. It's kind of like a half Hitler mustache. He's kind of funny, but the other actors are playing it very straight, and he does seem to be going a bit over the top. And he's in countless number of movies. He was even in Ikiru for Kurosawa. So this movie is the fourth movie. Big Time Gambling Boss is the fourth movie of a 10-movie cycle involving gambling, mostly set between 1900 and the pre-war era. And again, this is the one that I guess most critics got the most critical acclaim, and obviously it's the film that Radiance wants as part of their new lineup. Now this is the release has a reversible art form, or cover art, which has some Japanese alphabet on the cover. Big Time Gambling Boss. It also comes with a very curious I don't even know what you would call this. It's sort of like a U card. It was underneath the plastic cover, so if you buy it, this is what it's going to look like. And I took it off, and it has sort of the information in very, very, very small letters as to what the supplements are going to be. This is the back cover. This is indeed Wakayama on the back cover, the hothead blood brother. And then we get a couple of supplements, two supplements. One covers the entirety of yakuza film history, going back to silent times, and some kind of Robin Hood type yakuza was a famous ongoing character in many of these movies. They were banned by the nationalist government in the 1930s. They came back after the war, and after the American occupation ended, much of the censorship went away, and these films and various yakuza movies became big time. They were different than what people were staying home to watch on TV. So we get one about the yakuza history that, you know, I could not follow too well because it goes really fast. The other supplement is about about this particular 10 cycle movies and how big time gambling boss fits into the cycle. And Yamashita, I think, did one more in the in this series. And Yamashita was considered a superior director at this studio, so bringing him on board for this kind of genre movie was a change for him. And then we get a couple of essays here: Shogun's Reign, by Stuart Galbraith. And this is good. This gives a lot of information about the director, Yamashita. And then we get another another essay that covers the three main stars. And this is by Haley Scanlon, or Hagley Scanlon rather. And we get some really good information because these are big stars, and especially Tsuruta was a very big star at the time. And I mentioned the names of the essayists because not long ago, A Fugitive from the Past, I discussed it, which was an Arrow release. And I said this booklet was an amazing booklet, two fantastic essays, worth the price all on its own, that booklet was. And I got a comment on that from the man that wrote one of the essays, thanking me for praising him. And it was one of the few times I didn't mention his name. So I'm sure I'm going to be mentioning the names of the people who write the essays in here. Now, I got to admit, I don't particularly care that much about yakuza as a genre, and it gets in one of the supplements that covers the history of the yakuza. It gets more and more violent as the years go by, and I think they show some clips from Ishii the Killer. No way I'm ever going to watch these movies. They are just pornographic violence in my view. But there is a movie. I'm going to start my 1973 series, hopefully next week. And there is another yakuza movie that I'm going to have to see because it's a very significant movie in the history of that genre, called Battles Without Honor or Humanity, where the violence is upped a great deal, as the supplements indicate. So that would be one yakuza movie I say. I'm not going to. This isn't going to be an ongoing film investigation, however, but a very good initial release for the U.S. at least in Big Time Gambling Boss. I would have liked the commentary. I think on some of their other releases they will have commentaries. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are always welcome. Take care.